I made some massive mistakes in 2022 that really hurt me in my growth. In fact, one of those mistakes made me shut my whole store down, and I'll talk about that one. However, at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you guys a step that I took in 2022 that was unique, that allowed me to absorb all these mistakes and allowed me to continue to grow my Etsy business. The first mistake that I did, and this is a problem with a lot of Etsy businesses, is I slowed down on how often I created new listings. When you stop posting new listings, Etsy does not like that. Etsy likes new things. In fact, Etsy gives just a slight boost, not that much, but slight boost to new products. This will allow more traffic, fresh traffic to come in, and you're exploring with other keywords that you wouldn't have otherwise explored. And oftentimes, even though the keywords and all the things in the listings might be very similar than the other product, it will find its way to rank on other keywords that you wouldn't have otherwise ranked on these old listings. So one of the mistakes is I stopped uploading as much as I did in 2021. And with the very similar number two is I stopped making changes to existing listing. Making changes to your existing listing is very important. Now, you don't want to make too significant of changes like changing out the photos, because that might actually hurt your ranking. Even though some people say that doesn't hurt your ranking, but I found a lot more people say that it has with their own experience. Making changes like maybe changing out the price, maybe adding new accessories that they can buy that match that product. So making the product a little bit more juicy, a little bit more favorable. And I did this during the holiday season. I mentioned to you guys, but there's a product that never really did that well. And during the Christmas season, it really started to rank and it became my top second selling product. What I did is I worked on the price a little better. I added more features or more accessories to that listings that customers can acquire, or just give it a better reason for the customer to buy that product. And right now it's doing really well. It's continuing its rhythm of making more sales than it has in the previous months. The third is in 2022, I didn't put as much effort on seasonal products as I did in 2021. Seasonal products is surprisingly a great way to get fresh traffic, fresh keywords that are attracting new customers to get introduced to your listing, gives the algorithm new information about your kind of customer, and it keeps your store fresh with new traffic. So focusing on seasonal products makes your store more relevant. When your store is more relevant to the seasonal products, then Etsy thinks that you're probably also relevant in the other non-seasonal products. So that is a very important thing. So during the seasonal moments, like say the 4th of July, I put out 1 or 2 maybe listings of that holiday, but why not 5 or 10 listings for that holiday? So that's one of the biggest critical mistakes that I did, and my typical stuff, my just non-seasonal, because my strategy was that if I focus on non-seasonal products, that will give me more stability. Though it did give me stability, but it didn't bring in new fresh traffic. And since my shop is set up in a way where I can easily put new seasonal products, I don't know what I was thinking. I was missing out on a whole lot of traffic. The fourth one is more utility, and a lot of people also have this when they have a lot of listings. My stores do have a lot of listings, but inconsistent pricing. My pricing throughout my store was not consistent, and so I had to go through that and make sure that every single price is consistent, and that way when customers come to my store, they feel like they're getting a bang for their buck, or they're getting a deal when you are having a sale. It feels like you're doing them a favor. So inconsistent pricing really threw away some customers, and that reduced my conversion rate. Now the next one is unique specifically to me, but you can apply the same strategy that I used to get out of it in your own stores. Now, I'm a YouTuber and I talk about my stores and my products, but during this year, more than any other year, I had a lot of copycats trying to sell not only the same products, like anybody can sell a dog collar, but very specific, similar designs, same pricing, same everything. They follow my store like they check their social media. And so what I did to stay relevant, what I did to outcompete massive inflows of these copycats was I started focusing more on creativity and authenticity. A lot of times with these copycats, they're just print on demand, or they find somebody that can make a custom collar and they outsource the production of that collar and they don't do it themselves. So oftentimes they don't deal with the product directly, and oftentimes they can't take a very authentic photo of their listing. You know, they want to post like 1,000 listings in a month. What happens is a lot of times they're a lot more fake in terms of their listing. So I focused a lot more attention on, hey, let me get this listing as best quality as I possibly can, so that convinces the customer that this product is authentic. And you know, we make it here in the shop. I print the fabric, I sew the straps, I engrave it myself. We make all of that, and I'm able to really create a listing that makes it very unique, very handmade, and very authentic to the customer. And that allowed me to continue to grow despite the inflow of a lot of these copycats. The sixth mistake that I did is the quality of the accessories that I upsold with some of my main products. They weren't really high quality. And what that did is, even though they buy a leash with a dog collar, if the hook breaks off, they think the whole product sucks. So I had to upgrade the accessory quality so that when they buy the accessory, it lasts them. And the main product doesn't suffer the consequences of something that could have been prevented. So I improved the quality of the accessories, of the upsells that I sold, that made the whole experience a lot better, and it made less complaints on the reviews. Number 7 is I had a difficult refund policy. Usually if it was their fault, they don't get a refund. It was our fault, we'll do a refund, but only within the 30 days. And then the other part was that if there was something that they're just picky on, is like, I don't like the color, or I don't like the buckle, or I don't like how it looks, then it's like, well, ship it back and then we can refund it. So it would be this whole mess. I told my customer service gal, and I said, look, refund anybody that is in some way upset with us, with our product, whether it's our fault or not. Any kind of bad light, if they just didn't like the way it looks, if they just, whatever the reason is, if it's towards us, refund. If it's their fault, lighten up the load on their problem. Give them a discount, something that we can do that, yes, they screwed up, but we went beyond and helped them. And I've loosened that up significantly. Yes, we refunded a lot more people, but it showed greater results towards the end of the year when I've implemented a much lighter refund policy. Because here's the thing, if your production is a very flowing and consistent production, your cost per making that product is going to be a lot smaller, which means you can refund a lot more. Number 8 is I had too many options. For example, on my dog collar, I had sizes 3/4, I had a 1 1/4 inch, and then I had a 1-inch collar, so different widths of collars. And turns out that's not always a good thing. So what I did is I just left it to the most popular size, which was 1-inch width, and I left it at that. And so now all the manufacturing is focused on that 1-inch. Customers don't really notice unless it's on each edge of the bell curve. They really don't care and don't really notice. And so our manufacturing got a lot better and our quality got a lot better, which means we got a lot better positive input from customers because we've shipped it out on time and we've done just a better quality product when we've narrowed down on our options for that product. All right, and number 9, and this is what made my Etsy shop, what made me shut down my Etsy shop. I actually opened up a cat store later in 2021, but I had to shut it down in earlier 2022. I used to make 3/4 inch dog collars for extra small dogs, and I thought my strategy was, hey, I'll use the same buckles or the same sizes for cat collars. Problem is I didn't realize that those 3/4 inch collars were really heavy for those cats. Some cats probably needed a massage. The problem was that I was so tied to my process that I built, the manufacturing process that I built, and all the inventory, I thought I could juice out more than I could actually in reality. So what's the main takeaway from that one is that focus more on the customer and what does the customer expect, what does the customer want, satisfy their needs, and make the manufacturing process fit the customer instead of the other way around. Don't think that your manufacturing process is good enough for the customer. You need to understand them. You need to formulate everything in the shop, what happens in the shop, around the customer and them being happy, because that is going to be the biggest factor that will allow you to either be successful or really tank. Now, there's something that I did this year that allowed me to absorb all these negative pressure. Now, again, I've tried to fix all of them and I tried to really adjust as I went, but what I did this year is I focused all of my attention, and that's probably why I haven't been posting that much listings this year, because I focused all my attention to improving the manufacturing process in my shop. What that allowed me to do is I was actually a lot less involved in the production this year than any other year. This year was a lot easier in terms of the physical labor of making the product because my manufacturing was a lot more simple and other people could do it for me. Therefore, I was able to focus on these issues that came up. I started to analyze, what am I doing wrong? And it allowed space in my brain to really think about, what am I doing wrong? What can I change? And that's how these issues started to come to the surface, and I was able to focus more on them. Even during the holiday season, I was able to focus on posting new listings for Valentine's Day or planning to open up other shops for the following years. I had that headspace. And a lot of you guys might have a very difficult manufacturing process that is draining so much time away from you that you don't even have the time to think about your marketing strategy, your business strategy. What are you going to do in the next 5 years? How can you get financing? And all these great questions that every businessman or woman should think about. So make sure that you have a great process that does change how you are going to do moving forward in terms of scalability or even getting more sales. Now, getting more sales on Etsy, it's all about how creative are you? Do you have more ideas? And if your shop is cluttered and your process is just not the greatest process and you're spending so much time doing this little thing that's really not bringing you profit, get that organized and then focus on creativity, because creativity is really what's going to launch your Etsy shop. And I talk about that in this video, how you can almost 10x your sales by using creativity to use the strategy that I talk about in this video. So make sure to check it out.